Downing notes, will the environmental disasters never cease? An invasive species has been found in an Idaho lake, and it threatens the native perch population. This invasive species is known as the walleye. This is from the Idaho Statesman. 5 years ago, unusual catch led to a concern for our Idaho lake. Officials just reeled in another one. Nearly 5 years after the Idaho Department of Fish and Game found an invasive predatory fish in one of the state's prime perch habitats. 5 years have gone by, and they finally caught another one. In a news release, Fish and Game officials said off-duty fisheries biologist Mike Thomas was fishing the Boulder Creek arm of Lake Cascade on Saturday when an angler he was with caught a 20-inch male walleye weighing nearly 3 pounds. The discovery revived concerns about the popular fishing sport's ecosystem. Walleye are native to Canada, the Great Lakes, and the Missouri River Basin, though they've been introduced in other states, including parts of Idaho, because of their popularity with anglers. But their appearance in Lake Cascade is alarming to Idaho fisheries experts who have spent years rehabilitating Lake Cascade into a prime spot for perch fishing. Walleye have never been stocked in Lake Cascade or any of its tributaries out of concern that the predatory fish could disrupt other fish populations. Idaho does stock walleye in select reservoirs where they aren't able to travel to other waterways. Fish and Game officials said they believe this fish was transported to Lake Cascade and illegally stocked, perhaps alongside an unknown number of other walleye. In 2018, another angler discovered a 19-inch walleye near Crown Point, prompting an investigation into its origins. They're calling this a walleye infestation. They've caught 2 fish in 5 years.
How can you, a man of the water, a seafarer, a fisherman, be so ignorant on this, Joe?
What am I ignorant about?
This is an ecological disaster. You cannot introduce game fish like this into a body of water where they haven't been before. They're going to threaten, like the article said, it's going to threaten all the native species. This is really bad.
Well, most principally perch. I guess walleye eat perch.
Well, perch aren't a big deal to us, and there's nothing more fun than smacking them on the deck of my pontoon, but they are a big deal to the ecological system of that area and that lake. Am I saying ecological right, by the way?
Okay, Sigurd Olson.
You don't have an argument. Just sit there and take it.
I'm not sure I introduced one. I think, like Downing, I find it ironic to have our beloved walleye called an invasive
The walleye
species.
is one step up from the carp. Anything that is introduced illegally is an invasive species. You know, these chuckleheads in Minnesota love this walleye. It tastes like rotten tuna. Go catch yourself a northern and eat a real delicacy.
Oh, you are out of your mind now.
Okay,
Walleye
but
are a delicacy.
Let me go back to being serious. This also happened with trout in Yellowstone Lake in the park, Yellowstone Lake in the park. Some idiot decides to introduce a different kind of trout, lake trout, into the lake. And now this new brand of lake trout, which is considered invasive, is taking over, and it's killing the natural habitat and food for the lake trout that were already in there naturally.
May I finish this?
This is bad. People should not, under any circumstances, stock these bodies of water just because for their own personal needs. This is stupid.
2 reports over a 4-year span means walleye could very well be established in the lake, but the fact that we haven't encountered them during extensive fish population surveys or angler surveys means they are likely not very abundant yet, the guy from the Idaho Fisheries said. Our fisheries program will be shifting gears over the coming weeks to try to determine the extent of their occurrence in the lake, and we'll develop a game plan.
We shouldn't be arguing among ourselves. There's one guy we need to talk to.
You got him already?
That's because I'm good.
Lake Detective.
All right.
I got a $100 bill that says Steve Nokomis agrees with Kenny on this one.
Lake Detective, how are you?
Good afternoon, Joe. 100%.
Are you out on a case?
Yes, we're on Lake Osakis out in Todd County. Woo!
You're in my neighborhood. You're dangerously close.
Yeah.
All right.
You got the skiff in the water?
Then I got the long-legged blonde assistant doing the raking and the survey.
Ooh, did you check your gun with the local authorities?
I checked out. Yeah, we just dodged a big old rainstorm. Holy cow! There were reds and yellows in there, and now we're back on the water.
Wow. Well, here's the quick question, LD. We don't want to keep you from your work. Nearly 5 years after the Idaho Department of Fish and Game found an invasive predatory fish in one of the state's prime perch habitats, officials have reeled in another. The invasive species is the walleye, and I guess I'm somewhat amused to hear our beloved walleye called an invasive species, but Kenny thinks this is a serious story and that the walleye could decimate the perch. Where are we to stand?
Holy cow! Walleye love those perch. Those torpedo-shaped fish. It's one of their favorite forage. Now they're not a non-native species. They're a regionally non-native species because they're native to North America. It's just that once you get over the Continental Divide, they're not too abundant.
Right.
But yeah, they'll have a big impact only if they have spawning habitat.
All right.
I wonder if those walleye will be able to spawn in that situation because that takes centuries to develop, and it's very hard to establish a spawning walleye population. They need rock reefs and wind-blown shallow areas and a bunch of factors to sustain a real robust walleye population.
This is Lake Cascade in Idaho. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, but they're on the other side of the mountains.
Yep.
So not so many walleyes. You know what? Bluegills are also a little bit rare in that neck of the woods.
And we learned that they've caught 2 in 5 years, which leads them to believe, and they're not showing up in fish population surveys, that leads them to believe that they're not entrenched there yet. Would that be as a result of this lack of spawning environment?
Yes. We might be able to sustain a low-density population. They're probably not going to take over. Unfortunately, walleyes don't take over too many lakes. I wish they did.
Yeah.
But walleyes, they have a tough road ahead of them. If they can make it, maybe make and sustain a low-density population, but they're not going to really take over.
Okay.
Otherwise, they would have by now.
All right.
That's good news, Lake Detective. But would you agree with me when I say stocking on your own is a pretty bad idea, and in a lot of cases it's illegal?
Oh, you need a permit to stock anything, and often stocking walleye, it's what they call a put and take, because you're not going to establish any type of a spawning population. That's why bass are more frequently stocked, because heck, they can spawn just about any place, and then you can sustain a population with bass. But walleyes, they're a little bit finicky too. They have some very specific criteria for doing well.
You know, on Spoon Lake, LD, you just mentioned it's put and take, but on Spoon Lake, it's take and go.
Yeah.
With stocking fish.
You said you just missed a storm. Did you in fact miss it, or did you encounter it?
Well, we saw it coming, and we hightailed it off the lake. It's a 6,000-acre lake.
Oh boy!
By the time we got to the shore, we might have gotten a bit wet, but
yeah.
Did they
sheltered, and we're back out.
They have freeze out on Osakis this year? That's a shallow lake. No? Okay,
It has
good.
its shallow spots, but it made it. It's a
Good.
And the plants are coming, but they're down right now. That's the latest.
Very good, sir. We appreciate your availability. You are Steve McComas of Blue Water Science, but you're Garage Logic's world-famous lake detective.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
And a very noted boxing champion in the amateur ring.
He cannot be
You
stumped.
can't stop you. You feel better, Kenny?
You threw a curveball at him from the state of Idaho, and he can't be stumped.
Never
Joe,
been
I
stumped.
feel better because I learned something.
Yeah.
And I guess my concern isn't that great anymore, because there's a good chance that they don't have the spawning grounds that the lake detective was talking about. So
Right.
that's good news.
Right.